I didn't go to a film school. I went to an art high school where we had like drawing and painting classes. I did some hand-drawn animated films, but they're kind of very simplistic. My first short film was called Rush, but for me it was a big deal because I committed myself to work on it for a few months before I would just work on a film for a few days at most. My next short film, AQUA, is about a cat who's afraid of water, which is a similar premise to Flow. There's something emotional about it, which is a reason why I later revisited this premise. After AQUA, I did Priorities, which was basically like a graduation film. It was 9 minutes long, but it's only 4 shots. My hope was to create that immersive feeling. And I was really interested in camera and using that as a storytelling tool. So I decided to learn CG. I really wanted to kind of use these tools where you can have lenses, where you can have depth of field, and you can move the camera in space as you can't really do in hand-drawn animation. With AQUA, I kind of designed the story around things that are easy to animate. For example, the main character in AQUA is using a motorcycle a lot. And that's a very simple thing to animate. And also I tried to kind of repeat elements where you take maybe one character and copy it many times. So we see this group of cats, but they're kind of moving all in sync. I didn't even try to make them unique in any way. So I start writing the script, but at the same time I'm doing some sketches and kind of researching the technique and the tools I would use, which is important because it influences, again, the story, the limitations I have in this case. I finished AQUA, it took me 3.5 years, and I was also like then promoting it and traveling. But while doing that, I was already like developing Flow, and so I decided to revisit that premise of the cat being afraid of water. But this time I wanted to focus not just on the cat and the water, but really more on the cat and its relationship with the other animals. Because AQUA, it wasn't deliberate, but it ended up being a very personal story to me. And for my next film, I decided to really lean into this kind of aspect of telling personal stories. I wanted to push the language of cinema as well, kind of further than I had went with AQUA. I wanted to use longer takes and have kind of more interaction with all these characters. So I also wanted the world to be kind of more immersive. So there's a lot more detail in Flow than it is in AQUA. For the first time, I had a co-writer who also later ended up being the main producer of the film. Matisse Kaj, he's a filmmaker himself. But during production, no one really read the script. And I myself haven't read the script since I finished it. And I made the animatic without reading it. I would just make it based on my memory. But this allowed me to veer off the path of the script and come up with new ideas and be very organic in this process. We made Flow using Blender, which is a free open source software. So I just think it's amazing that we can make these films which will be shown in cinemas and which has this huge scope, but like any like student can pick up this software and make stuff for free. And I think it will open a lot of doors. What's also great that it has that kind of real-time render engine, which allows us to kind of see the film as we're working on it. I can have an idea and I can put the light or like put some fog or move the character, and I don't have to wait for it to process. I can like stay in that kind of creative flow to kind of have these ideas. I would just create these sets in 3D, kind of like a very basic version of it. And I take a virtual camera and I explore the set almost like a live action location scout. And I kind of sketch out the movement of the characters. So I do that in 3D instead of drawing storyboards. Because again, the camera is moving so much, it's really hard to draw when the perspective changes so much. I do think it was actually harder for me making a film with this team. Not with this team, but with the team in general. when I'm working alone, I can just focus on this scene and just do that thing. So for me, that was a new challenge, finding words to describe my ideas and feelings. But of course, this is a story that I couldn't tell myself.